Hey guys, Scott Patton here. Today I've got my March top 5 picks for fishing Lake Chickamauga, and I'm gonna go through these things one by one. And I know there's other baits depending on what part of the lake you're fishing, but when it comes to March, I really like to go shallow. Okay, a lot of times on big fish, or they're ready to get out of deep water, they move them up shallow. And it's a river system lake, you guys. If you never fished it before, if you have fished it before, you know this is a river system. So a lot of times when you're fishing river system lakes like that, these fish tend to be shallower than they will on more mountainous lakes, say like Del Hollow or something like that. But anyways, let's go through these baits. I'm going to explain how I fish them, why I'm choosing these baits, and hopefully it'll help you guys out when you go out fishing throughout the month of March on Chickamauga. All right, I'm going to start out with the Jackhammer. And the reason I'm going to start out with the Jackhammer is because it's one that I can cover a lot of water with. It's always done well on Chickamauga and a lot of lakes. I'm going to go with a couple different colors, and the one's going to be the red, especially in the early part of March when the water's still colder. You know, in March, the water temperatures are going to really start changing from the beginning of March to the end of March. There's a big difference. It's that big transition time in our weather and in our water temperatures, and so therefore it's going to create those fish to make those big changes too. But anyways, I'll probably start out throwing that red one for most of the first couple weeks of March, but I'll start watching if I am seeing bait move up shallow, some shad stuff, I'm seeing them up shallow, then I'll go ahead and throw the shad pattern as well. But the first couple of weeks of March, it seems like red really dominates. That red just works in that cold water when it's 50 degrees, 55 degrees, and then as it warms up some, that the shad will start moving up, and you're going to go to your shad patterns. Now I'll throw both of these in a 3/8 and a ½ ounce. It depending on how deep I'm fishing. Let's say if I'm fishing 6-7 foot of water, then I'll go to the ½ ounce. If I'm going to fish shallower, I'm going to want to crank that thing real slow, I'll go with 17 or 20 pound test line, and I'll go to the 3/8. That way I can really over the little drops around the ditches, over stumps, lay downs around the docks and stuff like that. Just give it a slow precipitation, especially the early part of March, because the water temperatures are going to be colder than they will, say, like the last week or last 10 days of March normally, as long as Mother Nature don't mess us up on that. But anyhow, so we're going to go with Jackhammer. And then the next one I'm going to go with is going to be another bait that I'm going to cover water with. And I'm putting these all in one category because they are shallow running crankbaits. I do use the standard 1.5 Lucky Crafts early in the spring. Again, here I'm going to go with different colors. Early in March, I'm going to tend to go more with the reds. Later in March, I probably will go with the chartreuse shad, the shad patterns. And if the water's really thingied up, I've caught so many big fish on this Lucky Craft 1.5, and it's moss back. It's not a black as chartreuse. It resembles a black as chartreuse, but it's more of a faded chartreuse color and a little bit more broken up back on that bait. You can see that bait's been worn. I don't know how many big fish I've caught over that bait over the years. But you'll want to throw this thing on, 17 to 20 pound test line on these shallow runners. And I'm going to use this one when that water temperature has that stain color to it. It doesn't, I don't know, it just has a real good reflection in the water, and fish love it, especially big fish. So that is the moss back in the Lucky Craft 1.5. I know you can get them in most of your tackle stores, Tackle Warehouse, Bass Pro Shop. They carry them. If you're down there in Dayton, you can go down to the Real Deal, Michael Neal's tackle store down there. I know he carries these 1.5s as well, but that's a great color. And this color here is your chartreuse shad. And if I'm seeing shad present, I'm going to go with that, fishing it shallow. And along with the crankbait, I'm still going to carry, I'm going to have my flat-sided crankbaits in there, you guys. You're going to have to kind of experiment when you're fishing back, going back on some of these shallow bluff walls. Some, in these ditches, back in the pockets and stuff, at the mouth of the points, anything where you got deep water moving up to shallow water, because more likely the lake's going to still be below summer pool at this time of year. But you're looking at those little short places where it might go from 12 to 15 foot deep up to about 3 or 4 foot deep. And Sometimes these fish will get super shallow. You may be throwing up in a foot of water especially if you got good sunny days and it's been cold. Those fish love to get up there and get in that sunshine and just lay. You know, if you got stained water, this is a really good bait to throw up there. It has a little bit different vibration than the standard square bill. Of course, you can see the body shape of it's different, so it's going to throw out a different vibration. A lot of guys are throwing the 1.5s versus that flat-sided crankbaits, and I really like to throw these because not as many guys are throwing them, so I think it gives off a different vibration, especially when everybody's wanting to go fishing in the springtime. Everybody's excited about getting out there and try to catch them a big fish. So if you're shallow cranking, don't just throw the standard 1.5. Throw that. This is a Kelly J flat. This is by Lucky Craft. Throw these flat-sided crankbaits too, because I'm telling you, it make a big difference. And again, I'm gonna carry some in chartreuse too if I got the more stained water, and I'll even throw the flat-sided again in the crawfish patterns, which I don't have one out, but you want to throw the flat-sided in the crawfish patterns as well. Fish these baits, you guys, on 17, 20-pound test line. There's some giants on Chickamauga, and I know that that's what everybody's going down and trying to catch one of those big, you know, 10, 11, 12-pound bass out of that lake. All right, and then the next bait I'm gonna go with on Chickamauga, and again, like I said, you guys, I'll really like to go shallow on Chickamauga this time of year. It's going to be a spinnerbait, and I'll throw different spinnerbaits. Okay, I'm usually going to be throwing this around the laydowns. You know, the lake on Chickamauga has a lot of laydowns in the creeks and stuff like that. Like I said, the water's been low. That water's going to start coming up, and it usually gets in the ends of these laydowns, and you know, that's where a big fish will stage. And it's also real good to throw a big swim bait around that type of area too to get you a big one. But not everybody's going to go out there and want to throw a big swim bait all day long. But back to the spinner baits, that's where I like to throw my spinner baits on these laydowns. These fish will lay, you know, get on the ends. They want some cover to relate to. They want to get in that shallow water. They feel more secure when they can get up there and lay in the tips of these laydowns that might have a foot, 2 foot of water on them. And that's where that spinner bait, you can throw that thing and slow roll it through there. And the thing is, key with this, you guys, when you're throwing a spinner bait, is slow. I may not be able to throw my crankbaits in there because a lot of them are cedar trees and stuff like that, and the branches, you get tangled up so easy in them. It's easy to get a crankbait hung up in them and make contact with it. And that's where the spinner bait comes into play, because you can fish it really tight to the cover. I will go to my little 1/4 ounce spinner baits. I got a little copper and gold blade on this one, especially for stained water. This is the color I've always used on Chickamauga. I mean, it's not the only color I use, but that white, blue, and chartreuse combination just seems to really catch them. And it's great for the water colors that we normally have on Chickamauga. I'll fish these little spinner baits if you find some vegetation back in some of these flats and stuff like that, that's backwater areas, back in the creeks. Slow rolling a spinner bait over those type of areas too, you guys. You'll catch a lot of fish. And it seems like there's not that many guys throwing a spinner bait where they're throwing the jackhammer or a chatterbait type bait. And I think when you're fishing around these heavily pressured fish, you can throw this little spinner bait and do well and catch fish behind other guys, because you're pretty much going to be fishing behind guys almost anywhere on the lake. But you know, you want to add some kind of little trailer to it. I just got a little curly tail on there. I'll use like a split tail and stuff like that. But anyways, add you a little trailer on here. And it's not just this color here, you guys. I know all three of these are the white, blue, and chartreuse, but you know, sometimes the solid white, the blue glimmer is real good. Blue glimmer chartreuse can be real good. So kind of experiment on those colors. But the key with this spinnerbait, you guys, I don't throw that many willow leaf blades. I'll go with the Colorados and Indianas and the turtle shell blades, because I want something that's I can crank really slow and make some vibration in case the water stained. Okay, so when you're fishing Chickamauga, make sure you got you some good 1/4 ounce and 3/8 ounce spinnerbaits to fish around these lay down trees. And then of course I can't leave out, well, I'm gonna go with the vibrating baits first, then we'll go to a jig. But you know, your vibrating baits is something that's going to catch fish down there. It's going to catch fish anywhere in the springtime, this time of year. This is a Lucky Craft LV 500 crawfish pattern. I usually on Chickamauga, it seems like these crawfish patterns, the reds and the golds, are really good on that lake. And I'll even go down, this is more of a 3/8 ounce, I'll go down to a 1/4 ounce. It works Works really well. You can fish this thing up in the shallow water I'm talking about, back in these creeks on these flats. You can throw it without it sinking and digging too much into the bottom. You can make it, bounce across the gravel points and gravel flats and stuff like that. But 3/8 in the 1/4 ounce is normally what I'll throw. But I'm telling you, the reds, the crawfish, and that gold color just catches them. There's times I've been on Chick where only thing you can catch them on is that 1/4 ounce gold vibrating bait, and it's just what they're wanting. And it works good in some stained water too, you guys. So anyways, you don't want to forget these. You're gonna have those tied on as well. I'm gonna move on down to my jigs now. One of my favorite things to do to catch some big fish down there, that's gonna be flipping a jig in these laydowns where I was talking about throwing that spinnerbaits when that water's first moving into those laydowns and stuff. I'm telling you, these sunny days, those big fish are gonna come up there and lay in those. I'm so excited about getting down there. I'm here in Okeechobee right now, but I'm so excited about getting down there because I know we're going to be going back home around the 21st, 22nd of March, and it's going to be perfect to start doing this. But I'll flip these things. I use a good heavy action Powell flipping rod with a loose high-speed reel, and I like to go with 25-pound tests. Seaguar, Braze X, because there's some giants in there, and when I get one of these fish in these laydowns, I want to pop them and get them out of there. A few years ago, I got it on film. It's on one of my YouTube videos as well. I ended up flipping in there, and I catch a catfish, at least 40-pounder on that 25-pound Seaguar. I was doing exactly what I was talking about. I was going back to these creeks. The water was moving up on these laydown trees and stuff. I was back there flipping, and I hooked that big catfish in that 25-pound Braze X. It's unbelievable. If you can find that video on it, it's unbelievable how that 25-pound test line, I was able to get that 40 to 50-pound cat out there on it, and because she was fighting. But anyways, back to bass fishing. Green pumpkin, it's a green pumpkin blue flash. It's probably one of my favorite colors on Chick. I got a Rage Crawl rigged up on there, and another color I'm gonna go with too, you guys, that I do real well, especially in stained water. If the water's more naturally green, where you got more visibility in it, I'm gonna go to this green pumpkin blue flash colors. Is always working good on Chick. But then if I got some stained water, I'm going back and I'm flipping, good again the wood, or on flipping some of these shallow rocky banks that are around docks. This is a Hackney 3/8 ounce hack attack jig. This color doesn't come on it, but I tie these and put it on there. It's a black and blue with just a little bit of chartreuse. It's got a race bug on there. Gives it a little bit more visibility in that stained water. And you can see, I got, you can put this crawl on this bait here, or you can switch some trailers around. And a lot of times just, this bait here, I could put this Rage Crawl or this Rage Bug over here on this green pumpkin, and it won't be as much action. It'll be a more subtle bait. So if the water's real clear, sometimes you want to do that. There's more stain it is, you're going to go, find the trailer that's going to create more action. And the action is also, it's not flash, but they can see it more because they see that bait moving through the water, and they're going to feel it. So, experiment with your trailers on these guys, and you should be able to catch you some giants down there. I don't know, I'm excited about it. Guys, I'm going to be heading home, like I say, here at the end of March. I've got days still open in April. I've got days open in May and in June. And I'm looking forward to getting back down there. If any of you guys wanted to book a trip with me, you can just look me up. My phone number's on here. I just got a brand new website that I just relaunched. I still got the same domain. It's scottpattonfishing.com. Check it out, you guys. If you got any questions, shoot me a call, send me a text, email, whatever you want to do. I appreciate you subscribe, you guys. It means everything to me. I love what I do. I love taking you guys fishing. I love helping you out as much as I can. And I love that you watch and follow on me. If you see you out there on the water, make sure you yell at me. But I appreciate it, guys. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you out on the water. I'm really excited about getting down to Chick. I believe me and my wife's going to try to get down there a little bit early this year, because we're going to go to the Bassmaster Classic. I haven't been down there to it. It's there in Knoxville, and hopefully some of my guys that I always known for years do well in that Classic. But I'm looking forward to getting down to the Classic and seeing some old friends and stuff like that, and just seeing the Classic itself. But if we're down there, you guys let me know if you're going to go to the Bassmaster Classic or not, or leave a comment. But anyways, again, thanks a lot, guys. We'll see you on the water.